Samson Omondi was born in Nyanza, in Siaya. He went to Maranda High School in 1998-2001. Then in February, in March 2008, he joined the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights as an intern in a program known as Human Rights Education and Capacity Building. Then he rose through the ranks to become a program officer in a program known as Reforms and Accountability, where he's working now. Now, what falls within my docket at the Commission, we have a big program known as Reforms and Accountability. Then there's a sub-program on security sector reforms, which is the program that I head. So in that program, we essentially do an implementation, an auditing of the implementation of the Chapter 14 of the Constitution, which is on national security. So we do trainings for security officers. We do capacity building of the members of the public. We share experiences from international organizations on security sector reforms. We convene various civil society organizations working on security sector reforms in the country. We convene meetings, sharing notes, experiences with organizations. And we also carry out trainings, not just police officers, but also to members of public on how they can hold members of security forces to account.
You did mention that you have a department on public education?
Yes.
Okay, now let's help us understand what's this department doing in enlightening Kenyans on their rights?
We provide public education to members of the public using different medias,
Yes.
using different methods.
Yeah.
We hold public barazas. We come to TV stations. We also try and infuse these human rights, not just now the public, but also what we call duty bearers, like the police. We want them to understand their rights so that as they understand their rights, they also understand that the other people have rights so that they don't violate them.
Human rights activists have been perceived to be anti-regime, to be anti-government. It could be a perception, but in many times, perception determines the reality. Why is this so, and how can this be corrected? How can this perception be corrected?
We have twin mandates. One is advisory, and the other one is watchdog. So it is not about being against the government, but it is about telling the government the right thing, the way things should be done. Because as you say that we are a statutory body, we are created by that parliament.
Yes.
And that parliament has given us the mandate to watchdog it and advise it, the government. But there are two roles that go together, watchdogging and advising. So it is not about being against the regime. It is about doing the work that we've been provided to by the people of Kenya through the parliament and by the international mechanism.
Let me ask you this question here.
Yes.
All rights are universal.
Yes.
Where is the place of culture?
If you look at our constitution has provided for what we call alternative dispute resolution. That not everyone and not every dispute can be resolved through the court.
Yes.
Some have to go through the traditional system.
Yes.
But in going through the traditional system, we have to make sure that we uphold the constitution, which is the supreme law of the land.
Yeah.
But I think me and you can testify to the fact that women can really be good leaders.
True.
Women can really be good managers. Women can really be good workers. And there's this say that what a man can do, a woman can do it
Yes.
twice much better.
Yes.
So it's something that will take a process. And I think our president has really done a good thing, even in naming the cabinet secretary, by even giving a very powerful position of defense to a woman. Because he recognizes that these women, I mean, what you can do, your wife can do it much better. Girls take much better care of their parents than boys, because boys will marry and go. But the girl will always come back and check on, what did my parent eat today? What did my mother put on today? So my challenge to girls is that they need to rise up and challenge men. And the Constitution has given us that avenue that we can also rise.
So do you foresee a time in the future when we are likely to have a woman president?
I think generally Kenyans are still not yet ready for a female president. Because our society is of that belief that it will take time. Maybe not in my generation and your generation, but in a generation to come.
What criteria is used to determine the limitation of rights? And who can actually determine that? Because I feel it's my freedom of expression, it's my right. You know the haki yangu, haki yetu.
Yes.
Walk around with placards and banners and boycott, work, strike, do anything. What criteria is used? And who determines the criteria?
Thank you. That's an interesting one. I think it's important to note that these rights are given by God. They are not given by anyone. And the only thing that we try to do is to ensure that they are enforced. The Chapter 4 of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights also recognizes that there can be limitations to rights. So when a right is limited, is not in the abstract, but there are conditions that are given for the limitations of a right. For those of us who do human rights work, we always have this popular say that your rights begin where mine end. So if you stretch your hand like this, you are free to move it all the way, so long as
you don't slap me.
You are not slapping me. Now, the advice I will give to young people watching me is that everyone can make it in life. I've come from a very humble, extremely humble background. I went to a village school, primary school. The first time I owned my shoes was when I was going to Maranda. And that has not stopped me from having several pairs these days. So your beginning does not determine your end. The most important thing is to have determination, have perseverance, and have a focus in life, and you shall definitely make it.
Welcome to VTV.